on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Well, this is the final football weekend before Thanksgiving. The Eagles play the Colts. College football's final weekend before it's, well, college football's version of Endgame for you Marvel fans out there. And we got a lot to get to this hour. Fantasy football as well. I know a lot of people are a couple of weeks away from the fantasy football playoffs. So we'll get to all that and more this hour here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. As always, you can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Also, if you have fantasy football questions, Andy McNamara joins us every Friday to talk fantasy football. He will join us in about 17 minutes from now. We'll dig deeper in with him about that. I want to start, though, with what I saw last night and what it means to the Eagles. Because on Thursday Night Football, we saw arguably the best version of the Titans that we have seen all year long. Now, I'm not talking about Remember the Titans, the movie. I'm talking about the Tennessee Titans playing on Thursday Night Football. And what I saw last night that at least was very visible to me was you have a situation right now with the Eagles' schedule coming up that necessitated the moves this week. Now, there's no guarantee that Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh are going to be these major, great impact players. But the idea is that if you're going into the next few weeks with no Jordan Davis and no Marlon Tuipulotu, and you were just getting some randos off the scrap heap and hoping for the best, well, we all saw that script. That was at, 49 or 48-7. The Eagles lost in 2018 when you had the law firm of, Bosby and LeBlanc and Sullivan and all those rando defensive backs basically off the street. It was so bad, right? You don't want to see that happen again. I think that there's enough people in the Eagles organization that remember 2018 and remember how bad things got. And they're looking around the NFL and they're like, look, we're better off going and getting some guys who are some veteran experience, who have been on championship teams. People forget both Suh and Joseph have Super Bowl rings. Suh won the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Bucks. That was the first Super Bowl hosted in the home field of a team playing in the game. And then it happened 2 straight years with the Rams last year. But Joseph also won a championship back with the Giants when the Giants beat the Patriots for the second time in the big game. So you're talking about two guys. They're not just Pro Bowlers. They're not just guys who have a decade plus of NFL experience. They're not just two big bodies on the line that take up space. But these are guys who have played at a high enough level of football with a load of amount of experience. I mean, people forget Linval Joseph got votes for the all-pro teams. That's how good he was several years ago. This guy was a 2-time Pro Bowler. And for Ndamukong Suh, I mean, that guy arguably could have won the Heisman at Nebraska. That's what kind of pedigree he was coming out of college. And you're asking these guys to come in here, not be the stars, not be the best version of themselves, but you're asking them to go out there and just give you some reps. Because what we saw last night is what's coming. What you saw on Thursday Night Football is a prime example of what you have to be worried about if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. Washington showed the world what it means when you get 3rd and short against the Eagles. And you know what I saw all night last night? Was Ryan Tannehill on 3rd and short converting. Whether it was him passing or whether it was him handing the ball off to Derrick Henry, or even if it was that very awkward moment when he tried to go shoulder to shoulder with the Packers defender and came out of there somehow alive from that nasty collision. I think that last night is the exact reason why the Eagles had to make the moves this week, because I'm watching that Titans game and I thought that would be a low scoring game. And I was wrong about that. That game, the Titans had their best offensive performance of the NFL season. And it was so obvious that they were firing on all cylinders. Now, I understand that you're not going to fire on all cylinders every single game, every single week. But it was not ideal weather. It was a situation where it's not like Rodgers had a bad day at the office. He still threw for 2 touchdowns in the game. But it was the idea that Tannehill was efficient. Derrick Henry got his touches and he got his yards. And they were basically a team that controlled the game from beginning to end. There was never a point in that game where I felt like Green Bay was in control or dictating the pace. I felt like the entire game, Tennessee dictated the pace, won the time of possession, and they walked out of Green Bay with an important win for them, because guess what? Now they got 7 wins on the year. In the AFC, that's huge. Because in the AFC, you look at the teams that all have 7 wins right now. The Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Titans. The Bills have 6. The Ravens have 6. The Jets have 6. There's just a whole group of teams that are right there with each other. And the Tennessee Titans found a way to stay on the heels of some of the other teams in the conference. That's a huge win for them. And that's a team that now feels like they've found a rhythm. They feel like they found their mojo again after some rough outings without Ryan Tannehill, with Malik Willis in there. And this is what the Eagles will look forward to in a few weeks. And you're going to see a variation of that this Sunday with the Indianapolis Colts. Because Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry are 2 of the 4 best running backs in the NFL right now. Everyone on planet Earth in their fantasy football draft wanted either Taylor or Barkley or Henry or McCaffrey on their fantasy team. In fact, I know some of your fantasy football drafts, those were probably the 1 through 4 picks for some of your drafts in no particular order. So you're looking at a Colts team as going to run a similar idea to what the Titans do. They're going to predicate their offense off the run game. They have a quarterback who is good enough to beat you, maybe not good enough to carry a team, but Matt Ryan still has the experience, the veteran savvy, and the knowledge base to beat you. And I don't think it's a coincidence when Pro Football Reference says that Matt Ryan leads the NFL in 4th quarter comebacks. So he's good enough to not just not lose the game for his team, but he's good enough to get his team back into the game in the 4th quarter, which means when you play the Colts with Matt Ryan on the field, no lead is safe. There's never a point in time where you think that you are safe. Matt Ryan has 5 4th quarter comebacks, 4 game-winning drives this NFL season. He's not as athletic as Ryan Tannehill is, but he has a similar type of pedigree in the pocket, which is a veteran quarterback who's good enough to beat you. If you run the ball, if you're Indianapolis, you will be in every game that you play, because you don't have the defensive talent to match up with the Eagles. The Colts defense is not even on the same level of talent as Washington. And the Eagles, if it wasn't for those 2 fumbles in the second half, they could have won that game. And now this Eagles offense is going against a defense that is without Shaq Leonard, Kwity Paye, and a few other guys. Their secondary is not very good. So what are the Colts going to want to do? They're going to want to do what they saw the Titans do last night at the Green Bay. They're going to want to go out there and slow down the game, take opportunities away from the Eagles offense. Because if this becomes a high-scoring game, the Eagles will run away from them. They will completely and utterly blast them. But if this is a low-scoring game, that's the Colts game. That's in their favor. They want to slow it down. You know, it's like Mike Gill was talking about with college basketball earlier, about these teams don't have enough talent. They want to slow the pace of the game down. You know, pace and space. You know, was the concept that I heard a lot when I was younger, when I played on some not so good basketball teams in junior high and high school. You know, slow down the game, spread the floor, right? Well, it's a similar idea in football. You're taking the game and you're slowing it down. You're taking opportunities away from the Eagles offense. You're keeping the defense on the field. And that's where Sue and Joseph are going to become more important because of the fact that now you have more guys who are veterans that you can rotate in. You don't have to ask some of these Eagle players to play as many snaps as they did last week individually, right? You look at what happened last week. Visually, it was deflating. But it was more than that. There was a point in time in that game where you're looking around and you're thinking, when was the last time Fletcher Cox got a breather, right? When was the last time these guys got an opportunity to catch their breath? They're on the field for so long, and without Jordan Davis, and now without Marlon Tuipulotu, who apparently was injured on Monday Night Football, you have a team that you could not go into this game asking, for example, Fletcher Cox to play 70 snaps again. Javon Hargrave to play 66. That's unacceptable. And that's with Milton Williams and Marlon Tuipulotu both playing about 37 snaps. So you saw the blueprint last night. The Titans showed you last night how the Colts are going to want to beat you. I'll give you my official pick for the Eagles game a little bit later in the hour. Josh Hennig hanging out with you here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of CLC. Plus, we going to get your fantasy football analysis coming up with Andy McNamara and my football picks for the football weekend. The final football weekend, the stage is being set because you know what next week is? Thanksgiving. That Thanksgiving is a line of delineation because next weekend is the weekend that decides a lot of things in college football. So this is the weekend before the weekend. This weekend for Marvel movie fans, this is Infinity War. Next weekend is Endgame. And the weekend after that, we're just dealing with the aftermath. So we'll get into all the football this hour. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday in Indy against the Colts.
The Eagles have it, so they get it right back. The hit by Josh Sweat.
This defense can set the tone.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
With Mega Millions now up to $238 million, what are you waiting for? A $2 chance could make you Jersey's next mega winner. After all, anything can happen in Jersey.
Did you hear about Taco Bell's apology? Yeah, they apologized for going too far with their breakfast. Like the naked egg taco and chicken biscuit nachos? It was too much. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food. like the breakfast crunch wrap. Fluffy eggs, melty cheese, sausage, crispy hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Or, as some call it, a breakfast crunch thing. Grab one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation, which vary.
Are you feeling it's a little overdone? Maybe it bogs down like it's overstuffed? Or possibly the appearance will keep your friends and family.
Wait, we're talking about my car, right?
Don't get dragged down this holiday season. Is your current vehicle roasted or overdone? Get to Matt Blatt Nissan, and AJ the Trade Man will fix you up. Then put zero down. Make zero payments till February, and pay just 2.19% APR financing on every new 2023 Nissan Altima or Rogue in stock for 36 months. Plus, used cars are still at an all-time high. Your trade is worth more than you think. And as always, drive away with peace of mind with Matt Blatt Nissan's 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Reserve your Nissan today from our huge selection. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle. Interest accrues from date of sale. Not all will qualify. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to mattblattnissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 12/4/2022. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Batteries Plus Bulbs with stores in Northfield at 900 Tilton Road and on Route 73 in Mount Laurel is your destination for boat and marine batteries. Roy, Scott, and their team are extraordinarily service-minded, and they have creative solutions to fix your cell phones and tablets, batteries for your power tools, cars, motorcycles, golf carts, and other devices. Performance batteries. They have what you need to get ready for storm season, including generators and so much more. Shop local, shop Batteries Plus Bulbs in Northfield and Mount Laurel.
Progressive presents today's to-do list for your dog.
Check front door, check window, check other window. Rest chin on ground, look into distance. Bark for no reason. Check front door, check window, check other window.
Your pet has a very busy schedule, so it's up to you to make sure they're protected. That's why Progressive Car Insurance covers your pets for up to $1,000 if they're ever in a car accident with you.
Chase shiny ball, lose shiny ball. Find shiny ball, eat shiny ball.
Get coverage for your pets with any auto policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage for cats and dogs included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Parents, are you tired of helping put your kids' shoes on? They're squirming, watching cartoons, anything but helping. Luckily, it's Skechers to the rescue. Introducing new hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Footwear you can just get your kids to step into and their shoes are on. You don't need to bend over. You don't need to sit on the floor and try to wrangle them on. And they're available in all types of Skechers styles with and without laces, and most are machine washable. Find Skechers slip-ins for kids or mom and dad at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
Football season is in full swing at Vandal Sportsbook inside Bally's Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win all season long. Plus, enjoy your favorite games from all over the world with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. Just head over to FanDuel Sportsbook at Bally's in Atlantic City to get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell to learn more. Must be 21 or to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Before we get to the text board over at 609-403-0973, Jeff and Ocean City and others checking in this hour. We got Andy McNamara. He joins us every Friday for a fantasy football Friday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Andy, first question, the people need to know, how is Canada doing? I know Buffalo is basically under a no travel warning right now. People are wondering how the Bills are going to get to Detroit. Right now. So, are you snowed in too?
No, we are like tropical. No snow on the ground. It's cold, but there's no snow, so it all went south. They can keep it. I'm feeling like Florida right now, baby. No snow, nothing.
What do you tell people with this Bills-Lions situation? Because obviously, this is weird. This is kind of like 2020-ish with the COVID stuff, right? We're sitting around trying to figure out, like, where's this game going to be played? Who's actually playing? Like, they can't even practice. So, like, the injury report is, like, subjective.
Yeah, it's so true. Actually, I had a chat with Sal Capaccio, who's the Bills beaten sideline reporter earlier today. That's going to air on my Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara show. Will be out tonight on Twitter at AndyMC81. And we were talking, Josh, and I got a little fantasy football insider info, little pre thing for our listeners here. Devin Singletary, that's the fantasy play you want this week. Devin Singletary, finally for Buffalo. We're thinking, and from what Sal was telling me, he's going to be used more to try to take some off of the plate of Josh Allen, because we see the last 3 weeks, 3 consecutive weeks of 2 interceptions for Josh Allen. It's different. He's trying to take on too much, and this is a case where maybe the running game can really help out here. It's a weird situation, but really when it comes down to it, you're going to be inside no weather at a dome in Detroit, as long as the Bills can get there. So fantasy-wise, that's that's open season.
Let's get to the big news for Eagle fans that also is relevant to fantasy football fans. Dallas Goedert, he will be out for at least the next 4 weeks, but on the injured list. Face mask doesn't get called. Neck gets yanked halfway around his body. They're calling it a shoulder injury, which is also a neck injury because anybody knows the neck is connected to the shoulders.
Right.
So, this is a top 5 fantasy tight end.
Yeah.
Top 5 real world tight end, Dallas Goedert. He is out.
Oh, that sucks. It really does. Oh, I love watching Dallas Goedert and a part of that Eagles offense just for real life purposes. But for fantasy wise, yeah, this is tough because really there wasn't a whole lot of fantasy tight end options anyway. And so now we take out Dallas Goedert. Oh, by the way, Mark Andrews is going to be a game day decision. So that might be out of there too. Zach Ertz. Let's keep adding to it. Zach Ertz gone from the Cardinals. He was number 3, surprisingly. Dallas's old partner there in Philly. So here are a couple of plays. Are you going to get the same production? Probably not, but these are the best plays that you can stream and pick up. Be proactive if you haven't got Isaiah Likely for the Ravens. That game day stuff, that's trending towards probably not. Isaiah Likely for the Ravens. Nice play there. He's shown that he can have some connection with Lamar Jackson. Also, Trey McBride of the Cardinals. And this is why, fantasy-wise, you go Trey McBride over, let's say, the committee that will happen in Philly when it comes to tight ends. It's just going to be hodgepodge. Fantasy-wise, not interested on the Eagles end. But for the Cards, this is where you look at it and say, okay, who's next on the depth chart? It's Trey McBride. Now we start following the breadcrumbs, follow the money, follow the draft capital. First tight end taken in this past NFL draft. Also, this isn't just some guy who's been on special teams. He played 91% of the offensive snaps last week and ran routes 76% of those times. So what that tells you, Josh, is that, okay, this guy's on the field, part of the offense, in the huddle. Now, he wasn't getting thrown the ball, but he was running the routes, so he knows what to do. And so that is now adding up to me thinking, okay, if I have to pick anybody, Trey McBride might be a really nice play and pickup right there because he's actually been doing it to a certain degree.
Another Eagle I got to ask you about. Now, he was a full participant at practice today, but we all saw on Monday Night Football when A.J. Brown went out of bounds at one point. He came back, a little gimpy, got his ankle taped, changed his cleats, okay? Came back in the game, was almost a 0 impact the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Now, I understand he's a full participant, but are there any wariness about A.J. Brown for fantasy owners or even real-world football fans? If you're an Eagles fan and you saw what happened on Monday night, you got to be at least a little concerned about A.J.
Well, you do, and it's not just is he on the injury report or not. It's re-aggravating it, right? Because we know with wide receivers and running backs, but wide receivers, that ankle is so important. You cut, you plant, you turn, you run. Like there's so much involvement with it. So if you roll it, we're not in there. Is he just resting it? Can it be an in-game reoccurrence of that injury? All maybes, right? All maybes and ifs, which is not too good if you're, a fantasy owner of AJ Brown. I think at this point you got to play him. If no news comes out and they're like, look, he's not on the injury report and he rested it. That's all we can go by. And we know coaches lie to us all the time and hate our fantasy teams. We know this. So it might be a ruse, but really that's all we have to go with. And AJ Brown is so good that as long as we don't hear any rumblings that he'll be limited in game, we just have to go with it and just say, hey, you know what? Let's see what happens.
Looking around some other news items for the NFL for fantasy football. Andy McNamara joins us for a Fantasy Football Friday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN at Andy MC81 on Twitter. Chargers, go.
Boo! Boo! That's what I say with the Chargers. That's the whole AFC West outside of the Chiefs. A big collective boo. Oh, Josh, every week was supposed to be must-see TV. Can't miss it. Come on, man. Keenan Allen is the new Julio Jones. I swear. Always a Q beside his name. Always a Q. Always a question. Is he? Isn't he? And what does that all mean? Justin Herbert fantasy, what a disappointment. Now, I still believe in the talent. I think Justin Herbert's going to be fine, but the question is, when is he going to be fine? And when are we going to see Keenan Allen back if we are at 100% at all? And so then you go to, okay, is it Josh Palmer, who I've liked and has been kind of that, low teens type of ceiling floating around? Austin Eckler's there. Like the pieces are all still there. That's what's so frustrating. And I'm just thinking if you're playing the Chiefs, it might be a good time to, if you're questioning outside of Keenan Allen, who if he's going to play or not, but any healthy Charger, it might be fine to play them because you're against the Chiefs, and that can warrant shootout potential, right? That's what we want. We want to be, you have to throw the ball. And that at least is good with Austin Eckler in there because we know he's at his best when he's catching the ball, which is helping everybody out. So I think for this week with the opponent, we should feel okay.
Looking at another team that's got a lot of issues, we'll call it, is the Raiders. Okay, Darren Waller's another tight end who is out for the foreseeable future. I know a lot of people were picking up Fabian Moreau this past few days. Devontae Adams, questionable for the game this week. It's not like they haven't had injuries this year. I mean, we were at a point, you and I, a few weeks ago, talking about Matt Collins as a streaming option already this year. Are we going back to the Matt Collins streaming? Do you hang tight to Adams? Do you hope and pray that Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels remember how to run an offense?
You lost to Jeff Saturday. Good Lord. That's going to be a trivia question forever. Like that's wow. What an embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment. If you're the Raiders and a fan of theirs, like, wow. Yeah, this is something where I was interested in Matt Collins, but then he had a couple opportunities. He didn't do anything with it. Now, is that blaming Matt Collins, the quarterback, the play calling? Probably a bit of a combo of all of them. So Matt Collins isn't really on my radar. Like the only guy I'm thinking, okay, I got to get in my lineup is Josh Jacobs. Really? Like Josh Jacobs he's had a few, a little bit up and down, but Josh Jacobs overall has been really good this year fantasy-wise. So outside of that, like the island of Foster Moreau. Do we want to be getting Moreau in there? Like, he hasn't done much either. Like it just seems like if you're not Josh Jacobs, it's kind of, even Hunter Renfrow, who's doing nothing, but could have been this would have been a perfect Hunter Renfrow resurgence time. Would have been perfect, but he's out too. So now it's like, okay, if it's not Adams, it'll be Jacobs. And it's just not an interesting matchup to me against Denver, who, despite their many, many faults, their defense is still pretty solid. And this could be a low scoring, just kind of ugly, blah game.
Matthew Stafford is expected to play this week, but guess what? He is not a good option for fantasy football. He may be the only hope the Rams have in real life football to actually win any games. But, what are you doing with the Rams offense? Because Allen Robinson has been a massive bust this year. Cooper Kupp hasn't been healthy for a couple weeks. The running back is just straight garbage when it comes to the rotations of like 5 different dudes out there, it seems like. And let's be realistic. We all hoped that when Van Jefferson came back, he would have an impact, and he's just been kaput.
Yeah, he has. The guy I've actually really liked, and he's not at 100%, it was sort of Tyler Higbee. He's a little banged up. And I had expectations of him coming into the year. I was like, maybe this is, and then he didn't do it, right? And it didn't work out. You're right. Allen Robinson, I want to hear nothing else about, he doesn't have quarterback play. Enough blaming everybody else. Allen Robinson isn't that good. I think facts. We can put that. We can hashtag facts that. He's not that good. He can flash.
Here's the thing. I'm going to push back on that. I don't want to say he's not good because he had some really productive years with guys like Blake Bortles and Mitch Trubisky as his quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So he actually showed you he can put up numbers, like 70, 80 catches, over 1,100 yards with like nobody quarterbacks. He gets a guy who just won a Super Bowl and he becomes the ghost of Christmas past. So like, I don't even know what to do with that. Like, did Kevin O'Connell just take the offense with him and Sean McVay forget everything? Like, I don't get what's going on here.
He just forgot. And let me clarify, by meaning not that good, not superstar. Because this was the thing.
Gotcha.
Get him a quarterback. Superstar. WR1. No, he's not that guy. I think he can be a good, like you said, regular, nice middle guy. Fantasy-wise, now he's going to get a chance. And maybe with Matthew Stafford coming off the concussion, maybe this is a chance where he can come up. But this offense has been totally flat and just, like you said, like it's something. What's missing? What's not there? It's very odd. I have Van Jefferson on my bench in 2 leagues. I'm not going to play him, but I still have him because I just feel, man, you got to get, if that guy can get a touch or two and get in some sort of groove. But that's what we can say for the whole offense. You're right. The running back's garbage. Tight end Tyler Higbee, I would love to see. I truly believe, Josh, there's not a player in the NFL who offensively who plays more snaps, is on the field literally like 99% of the time and catches nothing. An offensive guy who catches, it's really untouchable. So Allen Robinson, look, without Cooper Kupp, is he worth putting in if you're in a pinch? Because there are some significant pieces missing on bye week this week. Sure. I'm just saying, do not be surprised if he gives you single digits because we've seen it too many times.
Couple running back situations I want to get to before I let you go, Andy. Let's go with the Cowboys first. Zeke right now is questionable against the Vikings. Now, he could still play. The problem is that there was a point in time where Pollard was a must start in fantasy football. Now, if you go off of like the Yahoo Sports and ESPN projections, the dude's like a 10-point guy in fantasy. Like this dude went from being like 18, 22 points to being projected as a 10-point guy. And that's with Zeke questionable for the game.
It is kind of bizarre because if you look at what he's been able to do the last couple weeks, especially coming around the bye, right? You had the Chicago game bye, then Green Bay. He really catapulted back up into that fantasy realms. But you're right. It almost seems like reverse. Like when the expectations are a bit down, then he pops and kind of vice versa. And with Zeke not 100%. Now Zeke is practicing and sounds like he will play, but I kind of like him against Minnesota this week. And you know what? Maybe for a DFS play, that could turn into a contrarian play where, like you said, Josh, people are reading the rankings and expectations from sites and are like, not that good. And you put him in and maybe has a nice little day against a very good Minnesota defense. I feel comfortable doing that in some DFS lineups. And when I put Pollard in a flex, depending on my option, I think I would. I put him in over, let's say we just talked about Van Jefferson, for example. You know what I mean? Like I try not to have him as my RB2, but if I'm looking and thinking, okay, well, I can have him or I can have somebody that is, maybe a little more safe but lower fantasy point ceiling, I think I might roll the dice with Pollard this week.
One more running back situation I want to ask you about, specifically the Detroit Lions. DeAndre Swift told the media this week, quote, I'm kind of pushing through stuff right now. I'm still dealing with stuff.
Great.
So stuff is hindering a guy who for a lot of people might have been like their 3rd round pick in fantasy football, DeAndre Swift. Meanwhile, do we keep playing Jamal Williams? Do we just stay away from the Detroit Lions offense? What are we doing here?
Yeah, DeAndre Swift, he had the bye, didn't play weeks 4, 5, 7, 8, had 14.5 fantasy points, looked good, back down single digits the last 2 weeks. So yeah, that stuff, we have to take it as some sort of significance. And so what I'm saying is he's a tough to trust flex this week, which is disappointing because we love the talent, right? But what are we supposed to do with that? So, like for Jamal Williams, I'm playing him in 2 of my leagues. Absolutely, I am. Especially PPR with the touches. You can look at Jamal Williams and say, okay, this guy's got you double-digit fantasy points 3 weeks in a row. He hit 20 once, and if you're looking, in that stretch, and 2 other times earlier in the year. So for Jamal Williams, I think he's a very big part of this offense. And if you don't want to push Swift through his stuff, then Jamal Williams is a perfect guy. And we have to remember, too, with TJ Hawkinson gone, opens up targets for everyone, opens them up for Amon-Ra St. Brown and the types of those guys, too. So I'd play him, sure.
Andy, before I let you go, plug the shows this weekend, man.
All right, brother. Yeah. So at SickPod Browns and at AndyMC81 on Twitter. Got a lot going on there. Fantasy football. We got Ask Andy. We got my 2 hot picks, the sick picks coming up, NFL betting picks as well. Get you ready for this week, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. this week, special 10 a.m. start time. Going to be giving away some free pizza as well. So that's always fun. And that's where we get your fantasy football, your late NFL betting news and all that type of deal. So that's on the Fired Up Network, really just on Twitter. And if Twitter collapses for some reason, Josh, you got Instagram at AndyMC Sports too.
As the old saying goes, I think the rumors of Twitter's demise have been greatly exaggerated.
God, I hope it doesn't go. I don't know where else I'd get my news, fake or not.
Listen, I'm just going to put this out there. I mentioned to somebody earlier, just remember, people love rumors more than truth.
Amen. Yep, you got it. That's
and
it.
I'll leave it at that.
Yep,
Andy,
negativity sells.
Have a great weekend, my friend.
You too, brother. See you later.
And of course, our conversation with Andy McNamara being brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins & Sons. Call Jenkins because that's what 97.3 ESPN did. Yes, we need to make our studio comfortable, no longer going from freezing cold to sweating hot. That's who we called, and so should you. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy because Jenkins technicians are trained to do it all. For new heating and air installations, service and maintenance, Douglas air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing, and drain cleaning services. Call 609-641-6262. That's 609-641-6262 and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. All right, coming up next, I'll give you my favorite plays for the weekend, plus Andrew in Summers Point, Jeff in Ocean City. I'll get to your guys' messages, all that and more coming up on Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
Listen to Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Here's Maxey with a step-back 3 on Grimes. It's good again. Maxey filling it up.
The Sixers host the Milwaukee Bucks. Coverage begins at 7:30. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey.
3-ball, bang, it's good.
97.3 ESPN.
This report is brought to you by EMT Solar and Roofing. EMT Solar and Roofing can help you get qualified for a free roof with solar installation. Apply now at ESPNsolar.com.
Don't let time pass you by. Door-busting Black Friday sales are going on now and all month at Matt Blatt Mitsubishi. Matt Blatt Mitsubishi wants your trade, even if you're stuck in a loan or lease. Matt Blatt Mitsubishi wants to get you released, and you'll get more for your trade when you purchase any select new 2022 Mitsubishi SUV, plus every new Mitsubishi Outlander SUV. Put $0 down and pay only 1.9% APR financing for 36 months. Worried that your credit will keep you from getting a new ride? Matt Blatt Mitsubishi knows bad things happen to good people. We finance your future, not your past, even if your credit is less than perfect. So if you have a job clearing $350 per week, simply Matt Blatt Mitsubishi. Unapproved with Tier 1 credit. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Go to mattblattmitsubishi.com for complete details. Plus tax, license, registration fees. Offers can't be combined. Expires 12/4/22. So come in today and get your deal your way. Located right in the heart of Glassboro for over 30 years.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe. Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day,
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
Football season is in full swing at Vandal Sportsbook inside Bally's Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win all season long. Plus, enjoy your favorite games from all over the world with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. Just head over to Vandal Sportsbook at Bally's in Atlantic City to get in on all the action this season. Vandal wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit vandal.com/playwell to learn more. Must be 21 or to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name is Adam Barata. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Are you looking for a truly unique experience? Sweetwater Marine and Riverdeck is just the place. They feature roll-up garage doors to merge the indoor and outdoor space for the nice weather. You'll love to sit on their lawn at one of their picnic tables overlooking the Mullica River at sunset. Whether you're looking to have a nice casual dinner with a family or enjoy live music with friends, it's always a great time at the Riverdeck. Your dream day at Sweetwater Marine and Riverdeck will be nothing short of amazing. Visit SweetwaterRiverdeck.com for more info on their upcoming events and daily hours. That's SweetwaterRiverdeck.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you have to drive 300 miles to your cousin's wedding. Okay, so it's his fourth. But you know what they say, fourth time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Hey, Bird Gang, start your game-winning drive with a custom order from Boardwalk Honda. At preordermyhonda.com, your next vehicle is just clicks away. Just log on, build your perfect Honda, and reserve. It's that easy. When it's ready, we'll notify you to schedule pickup or delivery at a time and place that works for you. Looking to trade? We'll pay top dollar for your trade-in. Score your dream vehicle at preordermyhonda.com. And remember, from Maine to Miami, nobody beats a Boardwalk deal.
Boardwalk Honda.
More residents are getting quality, affordable health coverage through Get Covered New Jersey. 9 in 10 enrolling get financial help, and many pay $10 a month or less. Open enrollment is here. If you need health insurance, now is the time to enroll. Find your plan at getcovered.nj.gov.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Coming up on 97.3 ESPN FM tonight, we have Sixers basketball. Sixers taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. This is going to be a good test for the Sixers after their big monster weekend for Embiid. You get all these days off after the back-to-back. Embiid versus Giannis. From the last thing I saw, I think Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton are both out playing tonight. So could the Sixers get an extra game on Milwaukee? We'll tune in tonight. Tom McGinnis, and the call coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN FM, you have the locker room with Billy Schwein from 10 a.m. to noon, followed by Michigan versus Illinois. Sixers back in action again tomorrow night. So this is 2 straight weekends with them having back-to-back games. I'm not a fan of this back-to-back stuff. I thought we were supposed to get rid of this garbage, but whatever. Sixers back action tomorrow night, 7:30, followed by Oregon and Utah. And then Sunday, the Locker with Billy Schweim, live on location for the Eagles pregame show at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora, followed by Eagles pregame coverage at 12. Merrill Reese, Mike Quick on the call at 1. And then after the Eagles game is done, we'll pick up the Cowboys versus the Vikings in progress. And of course, after that, we are your home also for NFL primetime games. Sunday Night Football is Chiefs and Chargers. That's your weekend coming up here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Your home for the Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, NFL primetime games, college football, and more. Also, our Flyers coverage this weekend will be on Rock 104.1, even though the Flyers lost 5 in a row. Hey, they were good for about 50 minutes last night. They fell apart. They ran out of steam last night. So yeah, the Flyers games this weekend will be on our sister station, Rock 104.1. All right, over to text board at 609-403-0973 and your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Jeff in Ocean City chimes in and says, Josh, I think the Eagles will bend but don't break defense shows up this Sunday. I have the Eagles winning 24-16. See, if that's the case, Jeff, I think you're going to see a nail-biter game. As I said earlier, I think a low-scoring game favors the Colts. And I think if it's going to be a 40-point total, that's what 24 plus 16 is, I don't think it's 24-16. I think it's closer to 23-17. And the reason I say that, I know it's only 1 point difference each way, but the reason I say that is because I think that the Colts can score a couple touchdowns if it's a close game. And I think then the Eagles will have less time on offense. The Colts will have a little extra confidence under their belt, and it'll make it difficult. I think that the Eagles' bend but don't break defense would be at its best when the score will be a little higher. You know, I'm inclined to say if it's a low-scoring game, I'm thinking Eagles 21-17. If the Eagles' offense gets on track and has a good day, I think the Eagles win 35-17. I think it's one of those two scores this Sunday. Andrew in Summers Point chimes in and says, is Ndamukong Suh going to play? What is his impact? Is he in shape? And I don't know what the second question is. But I will say this about Suh. I don't know if he's how in shape he is or not, but I expect him to play. My anticipation is that he will play this week. I don't know how many snaps, but I feel like if Joseph and Suh can combine for about 30 snaps at minimum, I think that it's a win-win because you're putting some veteran bodies out there. You're putting some veteran guys out there that are going to help with the rotation. Look, Suh's in the building. He passed his physical. So I'm assuming Andrew in Summers Point that Suh should be good to go. What is his impact? I don't think you're going to see a major impact from him or Linval Joseph in terms of stats, but I think you'll see an impact from them in terms of having some veteran guys on the D-line to mix in there with Hargrave and Fletcher Cox. Because let's be realistic. Those guys shouldn't be playing as many snaps as they did last week. They had to for a variety of reasons. Over at 609-403-0973, Joey D. Ventnor says, Josh, you think the Sixers would trade for Durant? Would they? Probably not. The Durant situation is very complicated. I don't have time to get into it right now, but I think that we should table the Durant conversation for another day. So keep that in your back pocket, Joey D. I'll just say this about Durant. I think the problem with Durant and the Nets is less about Durant than it is about the Nets. For as much as Durant has made his own bed and he has to lay in it, I think the Nets have completely mishandled the entire of everything that's going on. If you read the entirety of the Durant interview with Bleacher Report, he didn't really say anything that was that bad. His whole point is that I can only control what I can control. I'm enjoying playing basketball, and I want to win. If you really break it down, it's what every athlete says in interviews, right? So, all right. I always like to give you guys some picks and some thoughts before we get to 99 Bottles. Your final chance to qualify coming up in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So be ready. Callers 6 and 7 for 99 Bottles. But right now, some college picks for you guys. Again, these are opinions or recommendations. These are not guarantees or locks. And they're being brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. That's the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's in Atlantic City. Get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell to learn more. Must be 21 or to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Let's knock him out here. First of all, I have no idea why TCU is a 2.5 favorite over Baylor. Baylor's not even that good of a team. They're a solid team, but I would argue that K-State's the second best team in the Big 12, not Baylor. We saw TCU get disrespected last week by the odds makers. I'm going to assume that they're making a mistake 2 weeks in a row. Give me TCU minus 2.5. Another number I don't understand, Vodtech is a horrible football team this year. Liberty's only a 9.5-point favorite at home. I think people got a little manipulated by the UConn game last week. That was 2 straight weeks for Liberty on the road. Give me Liberty home 9.5. I think they win by at least 10 in that game. You heard Gina Torretta say it yesterday here on 97.3 ESPN. He doesn't understand why Oklahoma State is a 7.5-point dog to Oklahoma and Bedlam. I don't either. I think Oklahoma State's a better football team than the Sooners. I like the 7.5 for OK State. Over-under time. Iowa, Minnesota. The over-under is 31.5. Go over. Iowa has recently been hitting overs. Minnesota has been hitting overs. Do not let the Tanner Morgan news manipulate you. The number is way too low. Look, it's been a while since Iowa had a bunch of games in a row that were 10-7s, all right? I think there's a little more scoring in that game. Speaking of scoring, I like the Utah-Oregon over 60.5 this weekend. And in terms of the NFL, I like the Eagles to win this Sunday 30-17, which means they would cover the 7-point spread. I also like the Bears and Falcons over. I also like the where is it? See, I can't give you a number on the Bills game because they're not even in Detroit yet. All right. 99 Bottles, your final chance to qualify right now. 609-573-3776. 609-573-3776. Callers 6 and 7. You are the final 2 qualifiers for this year's 99 Bottles at Maynard's in Margate. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll talk to you on Sunday with Billy Schwein.
In the locker room with Billy Schwein, former 3-time All-Big Ten and NFL linebacker Brad Quast joins me in the studio. We'll take a look at the Birds' Monday night loss to the Commanders. As always, the sportsbook consigliere Dave Sherapan checks in live from Las Vegas with his insight into the weekend's best bets. Then we'll recap Friday night's Sixers-Bucks action. And don't forget, Sunday we'll be broadcasting live from yesterday's Creekside Tavern for our Eagles pregame show. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.